Hey, what's up, guys? It's METAGAMESGX here, and we are going to be checking out an epic gameplay against Malice. I'm showing you guys the best plays to be doing against Malice. I'm going second. I'm showing you guys why I'm running the certain non-engine, and you'll see it in action, and a secret combo I bet you did not know that will own Malice every duel. So with that being said, leave a like down below. Comment what you thought about this duel after this gameplay is over, and then also subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We do daily uploads on branded and streams and shorts. So yeah, guys, let's get right into it. I feel like this is a good display of what you should be doing against their deck. Going first for the most part. I am, of course, going second, but we'll see what happens here. Of course, he ends up going Allure of Darkness, and I chain the Lancia. I know that this gives him the Allure of Darkness off the bat for free, but the thing is that they still need to banish. Like, Lancia is going to be your one-stop shop to stop the Malice deck, so I still even think that chaining the Lancia on the Allure of Darkness is still just fine, because yeah, he'll get the free draw too, but he's not going to be able to really play the game, of course. And if I waited for the resolution, he'd just be able to. So, like, I mean, the way to get around this is to play in the draw phase, obviously. But a lot of the time, if I don't know if it's Malice, I don't really want to do draw phase Lancia. And obviously, he's running the Malice stuff, but like, he could just be baiting. And also in my main hand, obviously, we started with Lancia, Saronir, opening, High Spirits, and Duplication. So this is a really good going first hand. Not so much a going second hand, but I did have the Lancia at the very least. He doesn't have the called by to deal with it, so that's going to be a free allure on his end. And he reveals the Baldrake and then passes to me. So I end up drawing for turn. I draw the Mulcharmy Fuelos, and then I start with the branded opening. I do this because there is, I mean, we do have a Verte line here, but I have Fusion Duplication. Whenever you have Fusion Duplication against Malice, you aren't going to be able to, or sorry, every time you have Fusion Duplication, you're going to be able to play around like multiple hand traps essentially with branded. So how you don't necessarily have to force the Verte line here. And then also, you guys might be wondering, this also shows how Lancia, like, in the main deck is 100% required if you want to win against Malice. There's, like, zero debate on that if you're running, like, quite literally any deck, I think. Some people were calling me crazy in the comment section when I was like, oh yeah, Branded's going to have to run Lancia, and funny story, everyone is now on Lancia if you want to win against Malice. It's just the only card that can 100% stop a Malice turn in the game at the moment, especially without the Adignisters in the game. So I do go opening. He has the Max C, so we're going to have to play around that here, but that's totally fine. We do have the Branded High Spirits too, but I do discard the Fuelos because I want to keep the Saronir for the High Spirits. I go for the Aluber. And here I just normal summon the Aluber to start baiting some hand traps. He doesn't have anything, so I do end up getting the Branded Fusion here. And then he has, and then I go High Spirits just to end up getting something like a Called By. But I search out the Mercurier because we are obviously under Max C, so I'm just going to not go for the OTK, because this deck can draw into things like March Hare, it could draw into Impulse, it could draw into Ash. He has no cards on field. They run Imperm, so I think there's like a decent opportunity for, and also Bystials, so it's just like, I'm going to have to overcommit to kill him through Max C. In my opinion, my hand is so custom, I could just do a Max C line and keep doing damage, and especially when Malice already needs their life points to grind game, putting them on low is pretty good. So here I end up sending the sword off at the Saronir, because that's always a good way to get recursion in the end. I could have sent the Retribution for the Branded Fusion, but we do have the Fusion Duplication, so I'm going to be banishing it anyways. He goes the Bystial Baldrake, targeting the Albion the Branded Dragon, which is just fine. I do have the Branded Sword, which I chain there. This was a bit early of a chain. I could have waited in case he had another Bystial, and then also just wait for my other combo, but he does have the Ash Blossom, so my man has Bystial, Ash Blossom, and Max C for me. So he isn't making this tough for us, he is making this tough for us, but we do have the Fusion Duplication, and this shows you guys why Fusion Duplication and High Spirits are still just mandatory and branded, in my opinion. I mean, Duplication less so, but this card is literally just saying, even going second here in this situation, when you're running cards like Lancia that completely turn skip your opponent, you know, having the Duplication in the pocket through a big hand of Malice cards is pretty good, because because Malice mains like 20 non-engine, right? Like 15 to 20 non-engine of just hand traps. So there's a high likelihood when you Lancia them, or even Fua them, they're going to have a ton of hand traps. So you have to be able to play through them. So I still think it's very important in Branded to be playing these extenders like Branded and High Spirits and then Fusion Duplication. And so here I go fusion duplication to send the Quem and the Albaz to make the Albion. Not immediately into the Sanctifier. We aren't under Max C again, thank God. But now I go Albion to get an extra body by banishing the Albion, or the Quem and the Albaz. And here I go into actually the Sanctifier. So this is kind of interesting, guys, because I don't have the most advantage here. What I could have done against... I'm going to teach you guys one of the biggest secrets and tricks that you need to know against Malice if you don't already know. So basically, if you're on like a really simplified board state because your opponent triple hand trapped you like they did to me, a lot of the time what your only option against Malice is to do is to lock them, and there isn't a reliable lock really in Master Duel. No one likes running lock targets in Master Duel because it's best of one. However, now everyone is running a Artifact Lancia, or at least 3 in their deck, and you can actually special summon Artifact Lancia from the graveyard off a Sanctifier Dragon and use its effect, because, fun fact, during your opponent's turn, you contribute this card from your hand or face-up field. Neither player can banish cards for the rest of the turn. So you can actually just Lancia lock your opponent with Sanctifier, and this was the perfect opportunity to do it. I could have went Albion into Mirror Jade in theory, but I didn't even have another fusion to make it, so I would have had to banish the Albion. And then if he removed my Mirror Jade, then I'm cooked anyway, right? Obviously, this loses to a called by, I think, over anything, but I do have the Mercurier at the very least to play through at least, like, the called by. And I could have went into Mirror Jade and kept that, but I just think, like, the Malice crackback is, like, a bit insane. Like, he probably might, since I already Lancia'd him, he probably has some stuff that's pretty good in his hand already, so I figured he might have enough to play through just a Mirror Jade, and that it would just be better to go for a definitive lock, which I think is way better in Master Duel because you have cards like Verte to convert your bad bodies that you're summoning off a Sanctifier with a low power Lancia lock like I'm doing here. He doesn't have the called by on my Sanctifier targeting the Saronir Lancia. This is a little bit of a mistake giving him a Saronir. However, I think it's still correct because, like, if I get over the Saronir or he just links off, I get to get my branded opening back, which gives me a branded fusion. So it makes it so if he links off, I basically get the crackback that he can't play through now that he's under Lancia. Like, the Malice 100% cannot OTK under Lancia. They literally need access code, and their Cryptor to OTK, essentially. Those are their biggest monsters, their biggest bodies, and their best removal. So if you end up Lanciing them, they just can't OTK. They can't really extend with their white binder play. So I think this is why just Lancia is the most important card in the game. And we actually have a way to search the Artifact Lancia, right, guys? Because we can just go branded fusion, send Artifact Lancia, send Albaz, make Albion, and if we have a light spellcaster in rotation, we can banish the Albaz plus the light spellcaster and make Sanctifier, and then loop the Artifact Lancia. So you don't even have to, like, recur it to hand. You can just keep summoning it on your opponent's turn and locking them. So here he goes normal summon Chessy Cat, and then goes link off for a link decoder, which is fine, and then he links off for a SP Little Knight, which he can't banish because he is obviously under... I mean, those are only 2 monsters, and then I get to trigger the Saronir, which is pretty good, so I send the branded Retribution, and he just has to end on this, right? He's just going to end on an SP Little Knight, even though, like, yeah, I give him the body. All he can do is end on a lowly SP Little Knight, which I already out with my board. So I'm looking really good when I sent a branded Retribution. I can get back the opening, discard whatever my top deck is, and get back into branded fusion, or worst case scenario, just link off for Verte. I think with Verte in the game, this was also a misplay on my end to put the Sanctifier in the extra monster zone, because I'd never want to link off Sanctifier if I have to. So it would have been better to do Albion there than Sanctifier. I draw a Cartesia for turn, and then I get the Retribution to get back the branded opening. He chains the SP Little Knight onto the link decoder Albion. I just go Mercurier here, which I think is also a misplay, because if he has March Hare here, which I should have known from the interactions or how he was pausing in the game, you know, he gets a decent bit here. He doesn't get to play the game, honestly, but it's also not bad in a certain sense, but I should have saved the Mercurier because the SP Little Knight just getting rid of the Albion doesn't do a whole lot here. I still get my OTK, right? And he's already clearing his board for me while keeping the SP Little Knight on board for me to attack over. But he does have the Chain Link for March Hare, which is pretty crazy. And he's going to be able to somewhat play the game here. So he goes March Hare, banishing the Chessy Cat, and then I negate the SP, getting back the branded opening, and then he's able to summon out the Chessy Cat. I chain the branded opening just to speed along things by discarding the Blazing Cartesia, and then he summons out the Chessy Cat. If this was White Rabbit, he would have been able to go on special summon, set one of his traps, and then activate it, but that even on its own doesn't do much. He could also cheat out a link, but the link, anything summoned off the trap that White Rabbit sets cannot use its effect. So if it's the not the MTP, the whatever, the one that summons from, that can cheat out a link monster. But we go branded fusion. Look at me, the Malice player not remembering their names. So now we go branded fusion here. I go Albion, send Albaz and Lubellion. Since I don't already have a Lubellion in rotation, I'm only running one Lubellion in this build. I'll show you guys the updated build at the end of this video, so stay tuned. We go Albion effect, banishing the Sarnier and then the Albaz, and then we go into our trusted friend Chaos Star Source Dragon, like literally just one of the best cards in branded that's ever been printed for the deck. It's a pop 2 through branded fusion. Before, we couldn't even do that. We had to do a pop 1 with Borreload that popped another one of our cards. This keeps the body and pops 2. It's just so good, while also being a super poly target against Blue Eyes. So here I just remove his 2 defense position monsters so that I'm able to deal enough damage to go for game here. And so I'm able to attack over the SP Little Knight, and then the Link Decoder, and then go for game with the Aluber, and then the 2 Albions and the Aluber. So yeah, guys, that was a nice game against Malice that really showcases the power of Artifact Lancia. We did go second, but as long as you see Lancia, you're usually in business, because what they end on is just absolutely not powerful enough to play through your board. So that is just kind of a very big plus side of running branded into the Malice format, that you do get to loop the Artifact Lancia. You get to search Artifact Lancia better than any other deck. Like, I think Melodious technically has a line. But I think that we still have a better line, because it's really an engine by going branded fusion, just send it and then summoning it with Sanctifier and just keep looping that. As long as you go first against Malice, I think the game state should always be really easy, because like no matter as long as you have a way to Sanctifier, you should be able to loop them. Obviously you can't do it with Verte, but if you already have like I had, right, like you can just draw that Lancia your opponent and then crack them back, and then Lancia lock them again if you can't kill them, because they max seed you and triple hand trapped you, which is probably very likely when you just turn skip a Malice player with Lancia. So yeah, this is the build. It's inspired a bit by Abomod's 52 list. He posted in my Discord. Shout out to Abomod, check him out down below. Branded go over on Master Duel, and our extra decks are actually basically the exact same, so I was happy about that. I just ended up liking the gas he put in. He went back to Grass. I still think Grass is one of the best cards, and also Allure Darkness is just very free in branded right now because of Lancia, right? So they're going to chain Lancia, and then you're going to get free Allure Darkness, which is pretty good. I mean, sometimes I'd like to banish the Tragedy or Mercurier, but I think free Allure is pretty good no matter what. Like, let's just say you brick, it's fine. So I think this card's really free. I'm not running Gold Stark also, which is an update from my build the other day, because of the fact that Lancia is in the game. So if you go Gold Stark and they chain Lancia, it's just a neg. So we're not running that. But we were still able to run 52, which I think is the minimum amount for running Grass. We're also running the Earth Golem, Adignister, and then the Garura, which are really good super poly targets for branded. This one also making it so you can't really die when it's summoned, which is pretty good to, like, if you brick and you have just super poly, if you are able to make Earth Golem, they won't be able to OTK you. Obviously, they'll be able to set up a good enough board, but I think that's certainly interesting. We're running the double Mirror Jade. I think you still need Mirror Jade. It's too important, and we see some unicorns coming around even in the Malice decks. I'm running Stapelia. It's, dark decks going around. I'm not running the Boral. I have the Chaos Star Source. You just have to run the super poly targets for Malice. So, and then also Quertus is very important for OTKing into Malice as well. So yeah, guys, we are running that. We're also still running Banishment because it's still one of your best one-card combos, and then some Grind Game and Thrust, because I do love the Duplication. As you guys saw, Duplication is still just so goated, and you're going to be going first 50% of the time, so you still have to make your going first good enough, which maybe was my one criticism of my last build the other day, but I still think it was a very good and low to the ground build, which works. I just think this build, maybe it loses going second against Malice a bit more. That is true. I just think you are never breaking a Malice board with pure branded. People have tried to cope about this in my Discord and comment section, and you are not breaking Malice unless you see Lancia, right? And I would love to see, if someone can send me a replay of you know, all branded engine breaking, a full power Malice board like Apo, either Terahertz or Firewall, plus Cryptor plus GWC sub with White Binder in the graveyard plus draw 4. If you could break that board, and they have like, the first thing I'm gonna ask is, did they have Ash or Impulse? Because if they didn't have hand traps, congrats, you got lucky, right? They have a 10 card hand and they didn't draw hand traps. Congratulations. Right? Like you just got lucky at that point. I think you really do just have to sack Malice and then just make sure that you're going first is as good as possible and still good into the other decks, because like you still have Mermal like branded in the other decks just kind of rolling around. I haven't seen any Snake Eye though, so, and Blue Eyes obviously. So yeah, guys, no Nib. Also, Nib is really bad without paired. I've seen some branded players on Nib. Don't run Nib. Unless you're running like other hand traps. It's just terrible on its own. So yeah, guys, that was the list. I really do like this list for branded. It feels really good. I'm also going to be uploading some branded synchro gameplay coming up. So guys, make sure to leave a like down below. If this video gets to 100 likes, we'll do another gameplay video. Comment down below what you guys thought of this gameplay. And with that being said, we'll be seeing you guys later.